Hello, Internet, and welcome to Saturday Night's Star Power. Thanks for joining us this lovely Saturday afternoon slash evening. We're here to play some more Fate and do it in a very anime way. We will be getting started here in just a second, but first I'm going to talk about all the lovely things we have going on our channel in case you're interested in joining us for any of our other programs throughout the week. Our next stream after this one will be tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern time for Thursday's Children, where we will be potentially finishing up our Wesen campaign that Savannah's been running. You can come join us for that and see how that turns out. We're doing fairy stuff. Kinda, sorta. It's unclear. I'm just guessing right now. There's also werewolves involved and kidnappings and childhood trauma. So all the old standbys that you've come to know and love here on our channel. Otherwise, our streams this week will be normal. We will have a game on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So you can check out our full lineup of shows on our Twitch page. If you're watching us live right now, scroll on down and you can see the full lineup of our programs, what we're playing, and when we do that. If you are watching us at some point in the future over on YouTube, head over our Twitch page and you can see what we're doing right now, because who knows what that is. Let me think if there's anything else. Merch store, because people are repping our merch today. You can support our channel by buying stuff off of our GGK merch store. We have tank tops, we have mugs, tank tops like some of our awesome players are wearing, and mugs like Sid is holding, and hoodies and t-shirts and other things. I think that's everything. I said bumper stickers last night and I was told that was wrong. So Funko Pops? No?
Not yet.
Not yet. Yes, everyone is wearing black tanks. We have a code of a dress code here on Saturday nights, and I'm glad to see everyone is following it finally. No, we just all matched because we share one brain. That is
one brain cell.
Cell. Thank you. That's pretty much everything I have as far as announcements and stuff go. So I'll go ahead and let my lovely players introduce themselves. I don't know if I'm going to do the icebreaker like I did last time. I'm going to do it just because it's my new bit. So tell us who you are, what you've been, what you do off of our channel, what books you're currently reading, and who you're playing here tonight. Starting with Savannah.
Hello, I'm Sabby. I'm at Sabby Seaworth on the internets, mostly on Twitter, where you can find my streaming schedule pinned to the top of my page. I'm here on this channel Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and now Mondays, either playing in games or running them. Like Val mentioned before, I run 2 different shows on this channel. One of them is Thursday's Children on Sunday afternoons. Once we finish up with that, we'll be going back to the Slaying 101 universe, and I'll be running Monster of the Week again for that cast. So that's going to be a lot of fun coming out with us Sunday afternoons. I also run a game now on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time here on GameKnights. It's called The Forgotten, and it's Dungeons & Dragons. And is a bunch of characters from other stories who didn't get to finish telling said stories or their campaigns or what have you. So we've put them all together and given them their own adventure. And our first session was last week and it was really fun. So we're gonna keep on keeping on with that. The books I'm currently reading, was that the question? I'm currently reading 2 books simultaneously. Well, I'm reading one and I'm listening to the other, but I'm currently listening to The Hero of Ages, which is the 3rd book in Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn trilogy, the first one. I'm also reading A Court of Thorn and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, which is another, it's kind of like a YA fantasy book. That's what I'm reading right now, and then I also have the 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle on hold. So that's what I'm going to be reading next. But today I am playing Piper, who is a brazen professional singer-songwriter, and who has an anima named Vega.
Is this the one where I tell people what to go next?
You have to tell people.
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know who goes next off of it. I think
It's RJ.
No, it's RJ. RJ, go.
Hi, everybody. It's me, RJ. You can catch me at RJustice282 on Twitter and Twitch, where I tweet about the nerdy things in my life and sometimes stream with my friends. Off of GGK, we have on Mondays over at the Indoor Adventures channel, our homebrew campaign. It's D&D 5e. We just got scattered across the Shadowfell. My character landed at the Shadow Carnival, so that's gonna be fun. I remember reading about it in Van Richten's, and other than that, I am over at the Hype Goblins on Sundays. We are not doing our normal game. We are actually on hold because we're doing a mental health break for our DM. So instead, we're going to be doing a game run by Sarah. I'm playing a bunny folk whose name is let me see. Gwenethel del Drogobral, who is a wayward rabbit prince and hunter. Other than that, I'm here Thursdays and Saturdays. And
Bonesaw just came out. Is Bonesaw coming today? I didn't know what was happening there.
I mean, if I spend a token, can I be Bonesaw for this session?
I don't know. Is he ready?
Bonesaw's ready.
We only get him for 3 minutes.
And it's for the shtick. Yeah, today I'm playing Feng Song, who is the troubled fledgling hunter of the group, and his anima is the Four Emperors. For books that I'm reading, currently reading Iron Widow. It is, I'll just read the thing on the back. This person likes its ferocious heroine. Iron Widow is brutal, bloodthirsty, and full of rage. Zhen Chan's fight to shadow patriarchal definitions of power make for a truly thrilling read. So we're gonna fight the patriarchy with furry mechas. It's gonna be great. Other than that, I'm reading some more Mistborn. It's the future one with the cowboys. I don't know which trilogy that is. And in the wings is the Thousand Deaths of Arter Ben. It's me. Oh, I also voice Omega.
Next up is Sid this time.
Hello, what's up? I'm Christina Sid. You can find me on the Twitters, Greek Sid, usually just talking about all the fun stuff I do here on this channel because I'm a GGK exclusive right now. You can see me here running Good Society on Thursdays. I'm here on Fridays, every other Saturday, and on Sundays, and now on Mondays playing D&D. It's a good time. There is no other proof of my ADHD than my Kindle and how many books that I read at one time. It's ridiculous. So I am still halfway through the second Mistborn book. I am reading The Wicked King by Holly Black. I have... what's this other one? I just bought the Iron Widow because holy shit, I'm reading the crap out of that book. No, I don't want the audio version of Mistborn. That's good. Oh yeah, and organizational skills for adults with ADHD. I just picked that up too. As you can tell, I might need it, given that I'm trying to read several books at one time. Today, I am playing Penny Isa. Penny is... What is Penny exactly? We should find out. I believe she's the tech wizard member of the Isa family. Yes, she is. And she has an anima named Omega, because time is an illusion.
And Wings.
Hey everybody, I'm Wings, also known as Danae Keener. You can find me at DanaeKeener.com. I do nerdy drawings, mostly related to D&D, and a lot of things on the Indoor Adventurers stream. Currently, I'm not reading any books. I was previously listening to the Dresden Files on audiobook for a while. But right now, I'm not reading anything. I'm just reading a bunch of, like, crochet charts and knitting charts. And I'm knitting, and I'm crocheting, so I don't have time for books. Books are hard. But anyway... If you have any recommendations for me, please send them, because honestly, maybe I should read some more books. That sounds like fun. Right now I'm playing as Vivi, who is an avaricious thief for hire, and her anima is Vespa.
And I'm Val, at the Kraken's Crown on Twitter and Twitch. You can find me here Thursdays through Mondays, playing and running games and doing all sorts of fun stuff. I run, other than this show, on alternating weeks, I run a game called Saturday Night's Mistborn, playing the Mistborn RPG. And you can tell a few of us are fans of the series. I also run a game called Neon Souls every Friday. We're doing space pirate adventures, also playing Fate. Dramatic zoom in from RJ. I can't read, so I'll skip that. Just kidding. I am reading a few different books right now, along with many the others in our group. I think I just started the Percy Jackson series. I am reading I am halfway through the Wheel of Time series, and I have been halfway through it for like a year now, because it's hard to pick back up once you've taken some time off.
I think I've been
that.
halfway through Wheel of Time for about 15 years, so I really feel you there. Wow.
Yeah.
I almost started Wheel of Time once.
Yeah. I think I'm in Lord of Chaos is the one I'm currently in. And there's another one. Oh, I'm listening in a re-listen to the Mistborn audiobooks too. So, yeah. But I'll be running this game tonight. Y'all ready to get going? Oh,
I would just like to say that the energy we're starting with is that Savvy just had to admit the word fucks into chat. Not F-U-C-K-S, F-U-C-C-S.
Yeah, Automod said, I don't think you want to say that.
Whoops.
And
You're
I
fine
said,
with the other one.
Yes.
We just don't allow misspellings on our channel.
It's okay, I had to allow the term.
We're sticklers.
I
clearly
had to
don't
allow
read.
the term you cow one time.
Alrighty.
Automod does what it wants.
I'm going to start a recap now, if everybody's okay with that. Previously...
No, I have more stuff to say.
Okay,
I'm
keep
kidding.
going. Previously on Saturday Night Star Power, your group was in the middle of a training montage. Moxie, the premier hunter of the Eyes of Family, is in town, and though her presence is not enjoyed by everyone in the group and very enjoyed by others in the group, you have agreed to be trained to take on some amount of mentorship from her, given her vast experience and wealth of knowledge when it comes to the use of anima in hunting phantoms. We had a little bit of a fight sequence where y'all did some sparring amongst each other, and Moxie revealed one of the sources of her power and her abilities, a technique that she had developed, which she referred to as Manifest Overdrive, a ability of anima users to imbue themselves and their environment with their anima's abilities, kind of creating a resonance between the two and amplifying your own powers and capabilities. She demonstrated her own with her anima ion, and tasked you all with learning to use this ability over the course of a week. Taking on this daunting task, though having her for full confidence that you would be able to do so, you began your training regimen. This led to lots of chaos and shenanigans going on throughout the week, mostly involving Feng blowing himself up constantly. Piper making googly eyes at Moxie, and Vivi trying to avoid training in whatever way she could in front of everyone else while doing secret training on her own so she wouldn't look uncool. The sort of goings on, or the subterfuge of Vivi was a hot button topic with a few of you, Piper specifically, being very assured in her belief that Vivi was skipping out on aspects of the training. There was when you discovered this to be the truth, and you found Vivi on the roof training outside of your normal training hours, you confronted her, had a bit of a heart-to-heart conversation, maybe learned some things about each other and who Vivi is and why she is the way she is. The week passed, however, and despite these other distractions, one thing remained sort of central in your minds, especially since Penny seemed to not have a abundance of trust for Moxie. This was underlined when Moxie, several times throughout the week, pretty consistently, would disappear in the evening, going off to do something for a few hours, not saying what, and then coming back later at night. You grew very suspicious of this, deciding that you wanted to follow her as the week was worn on. And as we approached our last day of our scheduled training, I think where we left off last time was just after your regiment had ended for the day. The sun was setting and all of you were getting ready to relax. Moxie, following her usual pattern, left or seemed to vanish from the estate entirely. Feng was in the process of using a sort of an aura tracking ability to try to follow her trail, while Vivi had also placed a bee on scouting duties, using her power of through Vespa to also bug, no pun intended, your mentor. I mean, is intended, was totally intended. So that's where we're going to pick up. I'm going to put on a little bit more our investigation music. Go with this. So we can set the scene here still at the Isa estate. I think, I'm trying to remember if anybody was doing anything specific when we left off, or kind of what the plan was from here. But you're all in kind of the like living room area, deciding what you want to do.
We want to follow her ass. That's what we want to do.
Okay. Did I have Feng roll or anything last time, or did we leave off before? I'm pretty sure
I left off before.
Pretty sure I held off on making any skill
Rolls.
checks or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Then what I want to do is Feng. So kind of visualize it for me a little bit. So Vespa is on Moxie right now, and you are following the traces of Moxie's aura or Vespa's aura.
It might be easier to follow Vespa's aura because I already know what Vespa's aura looks like, probably. And also, if Moxie is accelerating from one point to another, I doubt there's going to be much of a... There's going to be a before and after trail, but nothing in between, you know?
Yeah. I like that. So I think what this is going to be is kind of a heightened like notice skill check.
Okay.
And since Vivi is assisting through the power of teamwork, which of you have a higher notice? Or what is are you trained in notice, Vivi?
I am. Double check. My notice is fair, so I had a 2.
2. Okay. What is yours, Feng?
+1.
Okay. So, Feng, you're gonna roll it, but because Vivi is, what we'll do is you'll have the +2, and you get an additional +1 because of essentially you're adding the 2. So yeah, you'll get a +3 on the roll.
Okay. That is a +3, 2.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to give you then is with a 2, you sit down, or I guess, why don't you describe what it looks like for Fang, like what he's doing?
If it is this, he will basically... Are we traveling while we're doing this, or are we first setting up?
I think you're stationary right now. You are at Isa State. You will begin moving in a second in whatever vehicle y'all are using.
He asks Vivi to have a bee out and ready, and he closes his eyes. Tortoise manifests behind him, and she holds up a gong in the shape of a turtle shell. And as she strikes the gong, the bee also begins to resonate.
No.
I like that. That's actually same brain, because that's what I was kind of hoping for, is the this little, like, can we say that the bee suddenly like is manifested with like some of the like tortoise armor, or is like a tiny armored bee?
Yes.
And like
I love that.
in like radar transmission, you just hear a beep, beep.
No.
I love it. Which in the subtitles it's BEE-P.
We could just stop here. This is so fucking cute. Oh
that's
my
it.
God.
That's the session, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for watching. That's the end of our series. Doesn't get better than this. So you have this tracking bee now, which I think the way this is going to work, because this is going to be this is like a mixed success, because you weren't quite or the difficulty I set for this was a 2. So the I think what's going to happen is you don't necessarily know where she is, but that beeping noise that the bee is making, it will react stronger the closer you get to her. So it's going to be a little bit of driving around and seeing, like, as if you're getting closer, like a big game of hot and cold.
Okay. Well, it isn't much, but it's something, right?
I'll take it. I say we hit around this strip and go from there.
Oh, I could finally return those glasses to the hotel. We took Mai Tais out of the...
Oh, I thought you meant never mind. Yeah, sure.
We go.
All right. So everybody loading up into what? Piper's car?
Sure. If
Well,
wants
Piper
to
has a
drive.
bike, so
Oh, right.
Oh, right.
I'm still in season 1 mind where you had the big
she
SUV.
might also have a car. I don't
Into
remember if
the
I said she did or
security
not.
van.
She might also have a car.
It doesn't matter. We can also do the security van for Penny's company. That works too. Might be. I was gonna say more inconspicuous, but honestly, it's
She might see that too. No, that's really fair. If Piper has an actual car, maybe that one would be better.
I think she probably does.
okay.
Cool.
Sure. All right. Is this the same as the first season? Is this a carryover between the timelines, where it's a big pink car with Piper's face on the side of it, or?
I think it's.
She seems to.
I think it's black, but the accents and stuff are pink.
Okay. But there's not like a big Piper decal on the side.
No, but it's still kind of obnoxious.
Okay. I
Does it
assume
have
she's got like
eyelashes on the headlights?
No.
Is it that obnoxious?
No, it's not that obnoxious.
Does she have a vanity license plate?
Yes.
Okay. I will need to know what the vanity license plate says.
I will come up with something funny.
Okay.
I think it does have the LED underlights, though.
Pink.
Mhm.
Like 314 per Piper.
That's pretty
I was
good.
also thinking like P0PST4R or something.
Like, is that too nerdy for Piper? That might be too nerdy for Piper.
You can't just have letters on a vanity license plate, guys. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I was thinking it says like pop star or something, but I also like it just saying Piper. Or just
Piper
says
Blank.
bitch.
That would be really good too, actually.
Yes. But because you can't have swear words on a license plate. The I has to be
It's
a
a one.
It's
So
a
it
one.
would be bitch
Yeah.
with the one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it is.
Okay.
We got there.
Piper owned
We
a
did.
private jet. Would it be Air Force Piper?
Yes.
Okay.
There's also a
y'all-
license plate on the front that says boss.
And there's an ass in the car. That's a boss ass bitch.
This is technically true.
You bailed on that joke so hard.
Ripcord.
I could just hear wings deflate like halfway through it, like, why am I saying this?
It's like I've already started. I have to finish it now.
Commit to the bit.
All right.
Amazing.
You all loaded into Piper's car and began driving towards the strip. As you do, the little armored bee, I assume, is like standing on the like the dashboard, like with a pole arm or something in hand, looking very intimidating. And the beeping that it's making, the buzzing noise that it's making, is getting a little more frequent as actually you're getting towards the strip. So it looks like you are going in the right direction. You begin to drive down, kind of heading onto the main, turning on from the highway to the main strip, and moving with traffic, which is sort of stop and go as it's towards the end of the week. It's a bit busier, and it's not quite bumper to bumper, but there's a lot of people out. I mean, it's Vegas, so it's busy all the time. As you are passing through the ornate casino fronts, the beeping begins to intensify and grow a bit louder and louder until finally you hit a point where it all but is just a constant buzzing as you drive past the Platinum Star Casino.
That's Stephanie's casino, isn't it? Oh god. Okay.
When I said I was gonna return these glasses, I was joking, but I guess now I have to.
Out of spite. I'm gonna hit the floor. If I don't see her gambling right now, then we have an issue.
I mean, you run security here, right? Can't we just get what's his face to let us look at the cameras again? What was his name?
Oh boy. It was
Michael.
Dave.
Dave.
Was Dave?
Generic name.
I've really tried to write down every NPC name that comes up because
Can we
I
just
never
get-
know which ones are coming back with
I
y'all.
think Piper still says, you know, what's his face? The one who I sign autographs for his kids all the time. Dan?
Dave.
Dave.
I guess. Fine. Let's just get over there before 11. Shift change.
We should. What are you breaking?
No, someone hit jackpot. Good job. Yeah.
We should not all just go in together.
Okay. I'll go. Anyone that wants to grab a polo can go in with me like you're working.
I've got a couple of wigs in the back.
I'll run recon for you guys, but I'm not going in there.
Okay.
The owner and I have issues.
Oh.
You don't know about Stephanie?
I know of her.
She's
She's a
bad
bit of a
news.
piece of work. Yeah.
Mhm. Think about the relationship you and I have, and then make it worse.
Surprised you're not dead.
Hence why I'm not going in there.
Fair enough.
In the background while this is happening, Feng has already taken off his shirt and his pants, and he's putting on some khakis and the white polo.
Okay. You think the wormhole shirt is white? Come on. It's a black polo. You think she's gonna be wearing a white polo all day? Fuck no. It's black.
Okay.
She doesn't even give a shit if it's Las Vegas and it's hot as hell. It's black.
Tucked in or tucked out? The shirt.
Do you have a belt?
No.
Then tucked out.
Okay.
Again, you can check the back of the car. There's probably some costume pieces back there.
I'm not wearing a rhinestone belt with khakis.
Why not?
It's a little
I mean,
tacky.
You could pull it off.
Vegas.
Hello.
Tucked out.
All right, so everyone is heading in except for Vivi.
Should I be disguised? Or should I
Yes.
be distracting?
Why not both?
Because
So, like,
people in there are
disguised-
gonna recognize me, is the thing.
But disguised with the intent that people will recognize you, but it will look like you were trying to be disguised.
I really don't want it getting around Twitter that I might have like a secret gambling thing.
So no disguise then. Fine, you're distracting.
Great.
Then
If she's
what are
in
you
there,
doing
maybe she'll
here?
see me and be like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" I don't know, autograph signing.
Okay, let's find Dave and then we'll hit the floor and you can be distracting if you need to be.
All right. You all of you except for Vivi, head into the casino. What is Vivi doing while everybody else is going to the casino?
She's gonna find a rooftop somewhere. Drop some bees in some strategic locations. I guess she'll send a bee with each person, and then so now she's got like 5 bees on the field. Let's say 4 bees on the field because our armored bee will stick with Feng, and then we'll have one with Penny and one with Piper. And then we've got one that's still hanging around Moxie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm gonna go find a rooftop to gargoyle on.
Okay. You scarf lasso up onto a rooftop of like a pawn shop across the street between two of the big casinos, and kind of perch up on there. You have a good entry. You have a good view of the front entrance to the platinum star, and you can keep an eye out from there. I'm going to come back to you for a check in a little bit. We'll set the scene inside very quickly. All right, those of you inside. I got some casino SFX. We're gonna see how these go through. You head into the Platinum Star Casino. It is busy. There are currently people packed around tables and playing slots, and there's that general like hum and kind of the chaotic and energetic atmosphere that you're used to inside the casinos. Piper, I assume, entering in separately. Okay. Piper, describe to me what you're doing.
I think at first she's gonna be casual about it. She's carrying a bag that has like a little like portfolio type thing stuck in it. It's obviously full of headshots. And I think just kind of makes her way like casually through the casino, like, you know, I'm supposed to be here, I'm just wandering through, probably goes up to the bar, orders a drink, and then kind of posts up like on one side of the bar, mostly to be able to see a lot of the floor, but also to be able to kind of watch where her friends are going and then like see if anyone notices that she's there. Because if people start to notice, she's hoping that if Moxie is like somewhere on the casino floor or something, she'll come over and be like, "Hey, the fuck are you doing here?"
Okay. I'm going to have you roll rapport as part of creating an advantage here.
Great.
Let's go ahead and do that.
3. Why do I roll so badly during this game?
It's not terrible.
I have a plus
Luckily
4.
Well, luckily your modifier is helping you out. All right. You say you create the advantage, but you're not going to get the free invoke with it.
Okay.
I was thinking something along the lines of I don't know, like something like attention of the room or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I think as you begin to kind of walk the floor and
All eyes on me.
a few people, all eyes on me. I like that. A few people do come up to you and begin to like notice you, and like steadily some people kind of trickle in until there's like a small crowd around you of asking for pictures and signing like autographs, and people very excited for your presence. No Moxie just yet, but you do have the advantage of like Piper has taken up a lot of the attention of people on the floor right now, and y'all can invoke that later if you would like. The other two of you, Feng and Penny, you head to find Dave. Probably like sending a text message or something, because Dave doesn't stay in the office like constantly, does do like walk the floor and stuff. And I think you find Dave currently walking the casino floor. Oh, is it not coming through? Okay, I'm gonna go back to the music. Not that music. That's too peppy. Go back to this. All right. All right. You the two of you find Dave currently making the rounds around the like craps tables. He's got a tablet in hand, which he's using to kind of monitor some of like the security like alerts or like pings and stuff he's getting, and checking on the systems and stuff as he's walking the floor. He sees you approaching Penny with Feng. Says, "Oh, hey boss, what's up?"
Not much. Just doing some walkthroughs. How's the evening going?
It's well, it's going. Nothing out of the ordinary. Pretty, I'd say quiet. Not really quiet. We've had a few pings come up on the sensors, facial algorithm, things like that, but nothing that panned out.
Card counters or?
Yeah, sort of thing. False positives.
All right. Glad you're on the floor then. Keep an eye out.
Yeah.
Mind if I take the trainee back to the office and go through some program stuff?
Oh, yeah, go ahead. I'm the only one here right now, so it's locked up. But it's your office.
Thanks. Keep me posted.
Will do. I'll be out here for probably the next 30 minutes or so.
Thanks, Dave.
Gives a nod, continues making his rounds. The two of you head back to the office, scanning your key card at the casino security doors, and heading back to the wormhole like contractors suite. And there you have all the computers and tech for wormhole at your disposal.
Looking for my cousin.
Okay. So I think what this would be is a notice check. Because you're using the security feeds here, I don't think the difficulty is going to be very high, or it's going to reduce the difficulty slightly. So yeah, I'll have you roll notice, and we will contest that against Moxie's stealth, which I don't think she has training in. So just be a flat roll.
Woo!
I'm sorry.
Get it.
Just 4 pluses,
That is
baby.
4 pluses.
Did you
Plus
stunt on her?
Just the one that she has.
That's
in
where all mine
notice.
went. Sit at him.
That's
That's basically a crit, yeah.
holy shit.
That's what?
Basically a crit.
Yeah, that's the fate equivalent of a crit, I would say.
Holy
That
crap.
is nuts. Okay.
Penny is fucking determined to find this bitch. Holy shit.
Is that a shift of... Is it shifts in this game? 7?
Shifts, yeah. Yeah, no, so that's definitely a succeed with style, so you're going to get an additional benefit here. Yeah, damn. Okay, so you... And we can probably credit that a little bit to the to the computer programming that like Penny has helped create and stuff, kind of coming into play here, and your kind of expert navigation of it. But I'm gonna give you something else too because of your notice being so high. So you plug in a picture of Moxie into the database here, the same thing they would use to for facial recognition for, like you said, like card counters or other people that have been blacklisted by the casino. You do identify Moxie very quickly. Like a 20 seconds of facial recognition, the computer runs the program, and it comes up, and you find Moxie. She is not currently on the floor of the casino. She's actually out like there's like a plaza behind the casino where they have like some like kind of the doors to some of the gift shops come out from. There's like a fountain out there, but some of the security cameras do kind of point out that way as well. And she is picked up at the out in the plaza. She is currently sitting on a bench, and has her phone in hand, though still wearing her sunglasses. You can't see where she's looking currently, but she's not really scrolling her phone. You can tell that she's kind of pretty distracted as she keeps looking like over her shoulder and looking around, kind of keeping an eye at everything around her. And this would normally be something that you get with, I'd say, like empathy, but given your success with style here, and with your notice, you see her leg kind of fidgeting a little bit, and just her overall demeanor seems a bit almost nervous, you would say, which is probably not an emotion that you've ever seen her express before. Yeah, I think that's what you get here. And this is an active feed. This is where she is currently.
Text the others. Plaza, out back, on a bench. She seems nervous. I think she's looking for someone. What do you think, Feng? Keep an eye on her here and someone else can head in? Maybe Vivi can get eyes on her outside?
Sounds plausible. I can... Thought and head gone. If anything,
let the others know where.
Yeah.
If anything, what? Sorry.
I could patrol around the outskirts of where she is, see if I spot anything hinky going on.
Looks around the office, grabs a bottle of Advil that I'm sure Dave has, you know, like for his lower back pain or something. Hands it to Feng. Or read.
Yes.
Oh, RJ. Cool.
This is gonna be fun. You'll head out to the courtyard, but not into the courtyard. Like the area around the outskirts of the courtyard, just doing a patrol.
Okay.
He has a wormhole security hat on, just pulled over his eyes.
Okay, so you're gonna do kind of a pass around the courtyard, or like you're not approaching Moxie. You're staying, but you're looking for like what's your goal here? I guess.
Any hostile like phantom aura that might be around.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna have you also do a notice check then.
Okay. One.
Okay. You do a kind of a short kind of sweep, staying inside, but kind of staying to the perimeter of the courtyard, but not approaching Moxie. While you also kind of scan the area using your abilities. With a 1, you don't get any phantom readings in the immediate vicinity. Nothing in the courtyard, or at least on the floor of the casino that you're in close proximity to. But I will say this: you've been to the casino before, and you did some ore readings when you were back when you were looking for the elfish. And you picked up that very strong kind of or that malevolent feeling previously, and that was like very localized, very like with a very specific source from what you were trying to get a read on. Around the casino, and kind of like as you're closer to it, kind of since you're like striding the line between the two, you do notice that like it just feels like there's something off about the casino itself.
Just ping his B to the rest of the party. Yeah, I'm not really sensing anything hostile out towards the courtyard, but the casino's giving me all sorts of bad vibes.
At some point, if we're going to use the bees as walkie-talkies, I do need to start getting some Vespa dubs of what this sounds like when these dialogue when it goes through to everyone else in the group.
I got you.
Okay.
It's kind of like the same feeling I got over at Jackie's place.
Like something bad is gonna happen?
Or something bad has happened? Can't really tell right now.
It's probably Stephanie. She's bad news, you guys.
It's a lot of malice.
Mafia bad news?
Oh, definitely.
Or like...
Yeah.
Does everyone in the group, I'm trying to remember, did Vivi mention about Stephanie's involvement with the stuff that happened with Jackie?
I don't think she did. But now's as good a time as any to do it.
I think Piper knows.
I mean, Piper was there when her flunky came about to question Jackie.
But he never said that he worked for Stephanie. He just said his boss, right?
I want to
She
say
mentioned
that
Stephanie.
Yeah, I want to
during
say that Vivi
yeah.
mentioned it. So I think Piper probably
I feel
knows
like
and just
put the two
hasn't put it together yet.
The way that the conversation goes is all like, oh, I never actually did tell you guys about that now, did I? Yeah, no, Stephanie's a anima user. She's a leader of the mob. And she wanted that thing that your family owns. You know, the vase that I stole from you and then gave back.
What?
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
she-
is that the same Stephanie?
Yeah, she was my potential buyer. She was giving me some really bad rates, so I decided it was better for you to have it.
I
This
feel
is-
like this was kind of important information. That means that that artifact is in serious danger.
Whoopsie.
So Spark Notes, it's bad, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Penny's gonna call her Uncle Vic.
Okay. Vic picks up. You can hear you can hear the TV in the background. Just And he takes it from the top rope, goes to, oh, and a massive hit from, as like he's listening to wrestling in the background. He mutes it. Oh, Penny, what's up?
That jar. The artifact. The fuck was it called? Jormungander? Is that it? I have some weird words written under this jar business. I think that it's something to do with it. I don't remember. No, that was the fish. That was the fish. Never mind.
That was the fish. I don't think we've given a name to the jar or the device.
Never given it a name. It's been around since show 1, and it still doesn't have a name.
What would you like it to be called?
Oh Jesus! I don't know what it's for.
Yeah, we don't know its significance.
You do. So you do know that it has the ability to contain, like it at one point contained a phantom, because I think that was the impetus for one of y'all's like backstory things. It was like Feng's, yeah, that somebody had it and the anima that it was containing was released, and y'all had to fight it. It was in somebody's backstory.
Pandora's box.
Pretty much all our backstories. We all got
I think everyone's
up in that.
Yeah, the anima y'all defeated. The jar still intact. It has the ability to contain and hold, not anima, phantoms.
So what about a soul vessel?
Yeah,
Phantom thermos.
phantom thermos. Yeah.
What's the Ghostbusters box thing called that keeps the ghosts in it? What do they call that thing?
Google's furiously.
Yep.
Slimer. We call it
reference.
Slimer.
They use
Flux
their
capacitor.
proton packs.
Is that the wrong 80s? I don't know.
I mean, this just says the containment unit.
Ghost trap, trash box, proton pack. That's not it. I'm good with calling it Pandora's box too, because we kind of did open it and some shit came out.
Yeah, I'm down
Maybe
with
like
that.
Fancy name for vase. Hold on, let me look up
Vase.
A vase.
On every vase. Okay, now I have all that Hercules stuff.
No, that has like death connotations. I mean, like ghosts have death connotations. I like vessel. Vessel sounds.
The soul vessel.
Soul vessel.
God, we're playing Dark Souls now. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Touch the
We can
fire
go with that.
the Ashen one.
We can always rename it later. We went this long without naming it. So.
The MacGuffin vase.
Yeah.
A vasel.
The vessel.
It's getting a little too close to vase.
Basin.
Nope. Nope.
Yeah. Where is it?
Should be in the archive.
Can you check?
Sure. Hold on. You hear the armchair he's in creak as he walks a bit. A few moments later, hear a door opening on the other side. Walks in. Yeah, it's still here. I'm looking at it.
Okay. We need to put that under some more security. I'm getting some word that someone's looking for it.
All right. I mean, more security in this. The room's warded, alarms. I've got the alarm on at the house. Where are you right now?
Out.
Right. I can move it somewhere else. I don't know where it's gonna be more safe than where it's at right now, though.
Put it in the safe.
All right, I'll put it in the safe. What are you worried about?
I don't like this intel I'm getting.
All right. If I need to go on lockdown, just let me know. But all the alarms on. Should be secure here. Just keep me updated, okay?
Yeah, we'll do. Go back to wrestling.
No, all right. Just text me, okay?
Yeah. Good night.
Night. Thanks up.
She feels a little bit better. Okay. Let's just keep eyes on her and see why she's nervous.
You got it. Tablet in hand, opens up to like Angry Birds, but mutes the audio and just keeps swiping like he's doing something. Standing in front of like a router box.
But still inside the casino.
Yeah.
Kind of looking out a window. Okay. All right. You watch for a bit. I assume Piper's still maintaining her distraction.
Yeah.
Vivi keeping an eye out front. Nothing really changes for a bit. She just hangs out watching for a while. Something weird does happen though. About like 30 minutes or so. Eventually, she sticks her phone in her pocket, stands up, stretches slightly, and starts to like walk around the courtyard a little bit, casually. Not going to talk to anyone or really interacting with anybody around. She walks near the building, kind of coming up, like walking past the gift shop area to where you're standing, Feng. And I'll say for the sake of like the narrative and stuff, that what there's a moment where you kind of like you're looking at the tablet and trying to maintain your cover, and you look up to glance outside, and she's standing right at the window that you are currently looking out of. And you see her sort of glance in, and like, oh, well, you're still wearing sunglasses, like basically makes eye contact with you, but doesn't react, and just turns and continues walking, almost like she didn't see you.
Penny,
Yeah, I saw. I'm
please
watching.
tell me that these windows are like one way. Because that was creepy as shit.
No. She saw you?
If she did, she's not reacting.
Right.
Should I wave to her?
No.
Okay. I'll just
No,
finish
keep an
up this
eye.
level then.
Is Exploding Kittens an app now?
No, it's Angry Birds.
Oh.
Otherwise, she passes past that window, walks around a bit more, and goes back to sitting on the bench.
We could get Dave to investigate it.
Fine.
What's the play here?
guess someone needs to approach her. Casually.
Sorry, you need somebody to do the talking?
Can you approach casually without 40 people following you?
Yeah.
Might as well.
Hey, Dave, we've got a possible, what's the word? Fire escape hazard. There's a bunch of people just kind of piled up out in the foyer. Looks like they're crowding around someone.
Oh, you're referring to the people that are around Piper right now?
Have Dave disperse them.
Okay. Yeah, so Piper, while you're in the middle of this, you got like a pretty sizable crowd still around you, people filtering in and out to get their pictures with you. You hear Dave approach from the crowd. It's like, oh, all right, okay, break it up. This don't have any events scheduled here. What's going? And sees you, Piper. Says, oh, Piper. All right, everyone, just back up for a second.
Hi,
kind
Dave.
of pushes his way through the crowd towards you. Says,
Sorry, I didn't mean to cause a scene.
It's all right. I'm sorry about. We should have broken. I can get a security officer to escort you if you want to keep people from crowding you like that.
It's fine. It's just taking pictures and things. I think I'm probably gonna go get some air, though. So
Probably a good idea.
watch my back.
Oh, yeah. I'll keep an idea. Thank you so much for the autograph, by the way.
Of course.
Daughters loved it. So
I'm glad.
yeah, I'll escort you to the courtyard. How about that?
Thanks.
And he does. Crowd disperses. Some people seem a little bit disheartened by that, but you push through to the courtyard where Dave opens the door for you and allows you to step out into the kind of lukewarm night air.
I think it's like carrying a cocktail. Like, so she looks like she's supposed to be here.
Okay. You step out into the courtyard. As you do, because you're just approaching casually, not trying to be sneaky or anything about it. You see
I pretend like I don't see her for a second.
Okay. Well, even if you don't see her, those of you that are or if you try to look away from her like the others that are watching, you see Moxie look up, and then you see like her brow crease a little bit as she sees Piper. And you can almost hear her sigh through the security footage as she stands and walks towards Piper.
Sort of casually hanging out. Like a person who's stepped outside to get some air.
You hear Moxie approaching you, and she says, Piper, what are you doing here?
Oh my god, hey!
Hi.
Sort of, kind of halfway, like, opens the little portfolio thing. Autograph signing. Work.
Right.
What are you doing here? Do you play cards?
No, I'm here on business.
Oh. Cool.
Can we move somewhere away from the doors here?
Sure, yeah. Sorry, I
She like,
didn't mean to, like, interrupt you. It just crowds of people, you know,
No.
eventually it gets hot.
you shouldn't be here.
Why?
It's not safe.
I mean, it's a casino. I don't think gambling's contagious.
No, it's not safe for our sorts of purposes. She has a very serious expression on her face, not like cracking jokes or taking her usual kind of lighthearted devil may care attitude, sort of broken to the point where she's like, you can tell, is legitimately worried for you.
Okay, well, I work here all the time.
Right. We should talk about that because that's probably not a good idea.
Do you want to tell me why?
If we can move away from the doors, please.
Okay.
Right. Thank you. Gestures back towards the bench and goes to sit, like patting the seat next to her for you to sit as well. And taking like a quick look around, she says, I didn't know you were going to be working this week with all the training.
I never stop working, Foxy.
Right. I should have warned you all about this sooner. I'll say something once we get back, which we should probably do. This place isn't safe. There's a strong presence here. This casino is a hub of phantom activity.
Okay, you want to like elaborate on that a little bit more? Because I mean, we knew about the one.
I'm still figuring that out. I'm unable to learn much about it from out here.
Out here as opposed to...
As opposed to inside.
Well, I didn't know if you were going to say there was like a secret office or like a vault or... I don't know, a penthouse where the energy was coming from. Come on. You're giving me very few details, okay?
Given it's a casino, there's very likely a vault. So, probably. Anyway, they... Out here, as in not inside the casino, I can't go inside the casino. Because I can't see it.
What?
It's very complicated, and this isn't where I wanted to have this conversation.
All right. You know what, Miss Condescending? Try me.
Fine. Fine. About 5 months ago or so, I encountered a phantom. Very powerful. Somewhere in the Pacific Northwest. It was a bit more dangerous than I expected. Utilized illusions. It injured me, and I suppose marked me. I've been tracking it for a while, and I tracked it here, to Las Vegas. Due to whatever effect it had on me, I am unable to perceive anything that it has invested.
Okay.
Which turns out to include this entire property. Which is why I've come here very frequently to observe and see if I could learn anything as to why this is happening and why here.
Well, luckily for you, you've got some backup sets of eyes that can see it just fine.
Well,
you also know the head of security and at least one person who knows the owner. So.
All right. Fair enough. We should head back to the estate then and regroup with the others. I can explain more to all of you when we're there.
Okay.
Vivi has definitely had an open line to the rest of the group for this entire
about to ask.
conversation. Yeah.
Speaking of Vivi.
Oh, good.
Vivi, could you roll notice for me?
I knew there was only so long I could
Oh,
sit
no.
on roofs until something
oh, no.
attacked me.
Oh no.
Notice is under my +2s, and so you're there. Blah. Roll. I got a 3.
3. Okay. Guess I need to roll to contest this. Let's see. That's your character sheet. That's not the one I want. This one. I rolled a 1. Vivi, you hear like a thumping from behind you. The sound of something very heavy, but like physical, not like a hard object, like a soft object hitting a firm surface or hitting the top of the roof. And you spin to see in the darkness, kind of silhouetted behind you, there is a creature. This large, dark, shrouded form that, as it steps forward, is kind of cast into the neon lights. You see a massive, lumbering, kind of circular creature with 2 big, hulking, lumbering arms, and opening its eye, one central, massive eye in the center of its chest, as it, using its arms as legs, kind of pushes itself or stalks forward towards you, silent.
That's terrifying. Have I been told about this creature? Because, like, I know, like, our group's been attacked by it. Okay. So, Vivi, like, looks at it for a moment, and then just kind of, like, calms in through the bees, just sort of like, we have a problem. And then just cut to, like, the side of the building as she, like, leaps off the side of it, like, going towards the casino.
You leap off the side like a trail, your scarf trailing and like bees kind of fluttering off around you as you like leap over the intersection, cars streaming beneath you in the brightly lit Las Vegas Strip, and I think we get the shot of the beast behind her, also sort of pushing itself off towards her, trying to like grab her as she's crossing the gap here. And that is where we're gonna roll. We're gonna start our conflict here. However, we're gonna take our break first, and then we'll come back. I will pull everybody's notice scores so we can get our order established over the break, and then we'll come back with our to see how this all pans out. So thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back very soon, and stick with us. So go relax and enjoy your break, and we'll see you back here in a few minutes. Welcome back, Internet. Thanks for hanging out with us while we took our break. We're going to jump right back into the action as Vivi is leaping across 8 lanes of traffic towards a casino. Her bee scarf carrying her across the gap, while a massive, some people compared to Donkey Kong, others compared to the tank from Left 4 Dead, but the beast pursues her, and that's where we're gonna get started. I'm gonna put on some dramatic fight music. And I've got the initiative. I want to make sure that I have the turn order. Vivi has a +2 notice. Feng, Piper, and Penny all have +1. Okay. Except for Penny's goes up to a +3 if she's using shoot. But I don't think that's going to be appropriate here.
Not from the office right now in the casino. Probably not.
All right. Well, the beast has a +3 with its big ol' eye. So it's going to go first. And it, as I described before, leaps after Vivi and is going to attempt to tackle her mid-air. So Vivi, you can defend.
Using...
Athletics would work unless you have something else that you think would be...
Cinematically, I'd like to think Fang is still standing there playing Angry Birds, so it just cuts to like the monster jumping at Vivi and then a...
I feel like I'm mid-jump. Athletics is probably the best option here.
Yeah.
Even though you can defend with fight, I'm jumping. So
That's
here we
fair.
go. Well, I got a 3, and I think you got a 6.
Saw that +5 pop up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You big boy. This is what he's good at. All right. This with a 6.
It's like fighting the Hulk. Like I'm in midair, and he just swats me down like a volleyball directly into the street.
I had a different idea for where he's going to be taking you on this wonderful journey. Don't
go to a second location! Do not go to the second location!
Okay, so that's a 3-shift hit. But I think and I'm reminding myself, I think can reduce the shift to create an aspect as well. No, I think we're just gonna do the 3-shift hit. So however you decide to take that with a if you're gonna take a consequence, let me know. Otherwise, negate it with any of the stress boxes you have available.
Fate got very real very quickly. I have to remember how all the combat works. Okay.
Yeah. So how many stress boxes, physical stress boxes, do you have? Do you just have the 2, or do you have higher physique?
No, my physique is quite low. My physical stress is I cannot take a lot. Not gonna lie. So I'm probably gonna take a consequence of some sort.
Okay. Because yeah, do you have physique as a trained skill?
I don't think I do.
Yeah. So that means you would have you would just have the 2 stress boxes for it. So you can either take a moderate consequence, or you can take a mild consequence and your 1 stress box.
I'm gonna take a mild consequence.
Okay.
And stress once. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
That was a well-timed mute. All right.
All right. So you can describe. We can decide what the consequence exactly is. I would frame it because I think what happens is you feel an impact mid-air, like center of your back, as its hand kind of presses against you, and you accelerate through the air across the street towards the casino, and it just slams you face first through a window of the on like the 3rd floor of the casino, and the 2 of you go just like slamming straight into one of these hotel rooms.
Oh boy.
Is
I was
it occupied?
Yeah, I was worried I was gonna like land on Stephanie's desk or something.
No. But no, it's not occupied. It's an unoccupied room that is just obliterated by the two of you tumbling through here as he just face plants you right through a plate glass window. So yeah, I think for a physical stress box there, I don't know, like stunned or concussed, maybe.
Sounds about right. For like, is this a consequence? Should I write it down as stunned?
Yeah, as your consequence, you could put it down as stunned. Since
Right.
it's a mild consequence, that would be appropriate because those are dealt with fairly easily. I wouldn't want to be like skull fracture or something for a mild consequence. Okay, so with that having happened, I assume everyone else hears that through the B, and I think it's Vivi's turn.
Yeah, there's just we have a problem, and then boom. All right. I feel like Vivi's not even like she's not focusing on attacking this thing at all. It's run away, survive, get the fuck out. She like hits the ground like rolling and then just like tries to like hop to her feet and go. She's getting out of here.
Okay. I assume you are so there are two things you can be trying to do. It's like disengage but staying in the scene. So just trying to get away from the creature but staying in the scene for this, or you can remove yourself from the scene entirely, flee, and then that's a wrap for Vivi as far as this encounter.
I'm gonna stick around for a little bit longer. Mostly just to try and get the monster to Moxie. That's probably the best option, is to get Moxie involved in the fight. So, like, I'm gonna try and, like, lead it to my friends, because we are in a very public area. Like, it'd be a bad idea to let it just... As much as I'd love it to just wrecking ball the entirety of Stephanie's, premises, yeah, I'm gonna try
Can
and...
someone sing I Came In Like a Wrecking Ball as Bonesaw? Please, now, go.
Bonesaw! I came in like a wrecking ball!
It's just punctuated with like the
Thank you.
sounds of carnage. Okay. So God, what do I roll to lead it away?
Probably like provoke would be.
I'm doing a lot of
Good one.
provoking lately. Which honestly, the last time I had an opportunity to switch out stunts, I switched one of them for quote unquote, I always hedge my bets, since that's become a thing that I say now. I can use stealth in place of provoke when I'm targeting someone who can't see me. So I guess the best option would be to like get someplace where they can't see me.
Okay, so it might be a situation where you are trying to hide from it right now.
That's
and
probably
just-
the better. Yeah.
And then the next opportunity you get, trying to provoke them somewhere. Oh wait, I like it. Okay, so right now it is just trying to break line of sight, like get away from this thing, get out of its grasp. So yeah, this would be a stealth
I'll do that.
roll
then.
to.
How's about a 5?
Okay, it's gonna roll notice.
Oh god, it's got that eye! It's got that eye!
Eye and muscle. That's all this thing is. It's
It's
a muscle
pretty
and
much
eye.
It's
Uh,
Vivi's worst nightmare. It's something that can find her and then fuck her up.
all right, so it's gonna roll notice. It's not as good at notice as you are with stealth.
Well, it's only got the
Roll a
one
one.
eye.
Yeah, it does only have the one eye. So roll to 1. So that is another success with style for you. So you can you can get away with it. You also get some sort of bonus effect towards it. Do you have any ideas like what you might want to do with that?
So like when I get a bonus effect, does that mean that I put like a condition on the field, or
You could, yeah, that could be an option. It could create an aspect for you, if you'd like, or
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I would like to make an aspect. I'm gonna call it convenient carnage, which is to say that like there is a lot of rubble around here that I can use to like hide behind and stuff.
Yeah, I like that. Which I did add. So we had all eyes on me already for Piper for the aspects in play. I also added the aspects crowded because for the casino itself. That is in play just generally. And then, yeah, we can add convenient carnage to that too, which is what you're sort of utilizing in order to break content. So, like dust in the air, I think you see the massive eye of this this beast, like streaking wildly as it's trying to find you. However, maybe you've like ducked out of the hotel room. Or like across the hall to another room or something to try to get out of sight. Just imagine like a half of a broken wall that you're just like pinned up against to try to stay out of sight.
Yeah, and there's just like blood streaming down her head. I wanna say like, can we say that this creature's like eye literally has a spotlight that like shoots out from it?
Yeah, I'm down with that. Has
So,
like
there's
a
just
like
this spotlight going across. Yeah, all right, I love that.
I like that too.
I hate it.
If Final Fantasy has taught me anything, you stay at that light because there's an AoE coming.
The AoE is its fists.
Yeah, through like the dark, like there's like a flickering fluorescent light up here as most of the power has been killed from the impact. And yeah, you just see through the dust and stuff this like this light beam that's strafing through the room trying to find you, and you just hear its kind of lumbering footsteps. It's not breathing or anything because it doesn't seem to have a mouth, so it's very quiet, but it's just like that steady impact of its arm falls against the or its hand falls, I guess, against the ground.
It doesn't seem to have a mouth.
Yes.
I hate that sentence so much.
Has no mouth and yet it must scream.
Is
Everyone
this
else in the
technically
hotel.
a hand-eye boss?
It is only hands and eyes, so there is connective tissue between them. I could get rid of the connective tissue between its hands and
Just a big eye with
shoulders.
2 hands.
Yeah.
No. I've made things worse for myself.
An alarm goes off at the casino as something has happened. Just the blaring siren, evacuation warnings going over the intercoms. There's an alert going on, and panic ensues. And I'm actually going to change the aspect here to I had the crowded aspect, and I think I'm gonna add panic to that aspect as well. So like crowded chaos. All right. The next person on my list to go is why is it there? Would be Feng.
Just into the courtyard. We have a problem.
Moxie's on this list too, though she can't really do much while things are happening in the hotel. And I assume she and Piper were still having their conversation, and she looks up. Why is Fang here?
Working.
Are all of you working here tonight?
No. Technically, I think Vivi's being attacked here tonight.
Where?
Upper floors.
Fang, we gotta get it out of the building.
If I'm standing in the courtyard, do I see like which floor is currently being damaged?
Not from your side, it's the other side of the building.
Vivi, where are you?
Kind of busy right now.
That doesn't help at all. He's gonna turn on his aura tracking to see if he can spot the bees at the level.
Okay. I'll let you roll a notice check then.
Do we
It's gonna be
have
a
our
very low difficulty?
Do we have our new stunts?
Your new stunts?
The Manifest Overdrive.
Oh yeah, you all have access to Manifest Overdrive at this
Yeah,
point.
we never talked about
Oh.
what they were.
Yeah, I was kind of waiting to see if it came up and then give you all the opportunity to unveil your thing if it happens in combat. So yes, you have access to your Manifest Overdrive. If you would like to use it at any point, just shout it out.
Cool. Notice me, senpai bees. That's 1.
Okay, I had only set this at a like a mediocre difficulty because this is just trying to. There's big presences here. You are able to sense the strong presence of a phantom and Vivi on the 3rd floor of the hotel on the opposite side of the building.
3rd floor, opposite side, and Feng starts sprinting.
Okay. Moxie looks to you, Piper, because you're next too, and says, I can't do anything while it's inside. I'll move around to the front of the building. If you can get it outside, I can assist.
Yeah, I got an idea.
With that, I think Moxie also has a higher notice. She just kind of almost just like blinks out of existence as she goes streaking around the building.
Piper, who really wanted to have the opportunity to stall Moxie when the plan was still to go back to the house so everybody could get out of the casino by asking her to have a drink with her, is pissed at Vivi right now.
How dare you get attacked?
So 3rd floor, other side of the building. Okay. Can I use my Manifest Overdrive?
Yes.
I
And
have an
I was going to
idea.
mention too, I'm not really worrying about movement and stuff. Y'all are very powerful. If you can describe to me a cool way that you're getting there on your turn, we can get there. I'm not going to be like 3rd floor. It's going to take you 6 turns to get up there or something like that.
I would. Piper's not overly concerned about movement because she thinks maybe she can do this without having to. So my Manifest Overdrive is called Angel of Music.
Okay.
Which allows Piper to essentially throw her voice and manifest sounds wherever she wants. So I'm going to try to use that. What I want to do is essentially look up towards the 3rd floor and use Vega to amplify her voice in different spots and essentially create enough like horrible loud screeching sounds to try to essentially force it out the other side of the building. So to create enough of this like sound power behind it that it will go the other direction out the building.
Okay.
Towards Feng and hopefully Moxie.
Okay, so we'll call this. So we're with the Manifest Overdrive to reiterate too. So you get to create an aspect that is attached to your powers and stuff. So Angel of Music is yours, and we're gonna go with like discordance or something like that.
Yeah.
Some sort of unpleasant noise in the building that's gonna force the creature outside. Unless you have another name. I had to spell that incredibly wrong. Okay.
No, that works.
What does the visual look like here with your when you are going into this state or using this ability, like, because we've seen what it looks like for Moxie, and I think we've seen a little bit of what it looks like for Feng. So I was curious what this looks like for Piper.
I think it is kind of a like, because she wants to. She's been working really hard to like work with Vega, like Moxie told her to. So I think it's kind of like a mech situation. Where Vega instead kind of manifests like around her. And for a short period of time she's like quite literally like tapped into like the actual like speakers.
Okay.
And stuff.
Do you have like a
I'm a Voltron.
present like sound collar?
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
So like, and as far as like the projecting music, do you see it as just like ghost like sounds appearing there, or like is there also like a manifestation of like speakers that appear like in random spots, like wherever you're focusing on, that are forming the sounds?
I don't think it's speakers. I think it's other pipers.
The Pied Piper.
Oh man, we missed out on. We got to create a Pied Piper ability
Yeah.
for.
Yeah. No, I think it's yeah. It's like a K-pop group up there.
Okay, so
there's essentially like a girl band up there.
So Vivi, you see sort of materializing out of the smoke in front of you, Piper like steps out of the hallway like right next to you, and the like eye of this creature then focuses on her, and then from down the hallway a little bit, like a few yards away from you, another Piper steps out as well, and another, and then the like all three of them at the same time take in a big breath and then let out this like shrieking noise in the direction of this creature. So I'm gonna have you roll to provoke this, and you can you get a free invoke with your since you use, well, hold on, you go to Sigil Aspect. Okay, no, you don't get no, not a free invoke. So you can choose to invoke this as part of the roll to gain a bonus.
Okay, do I have to do that before I roll?
No, you can do it after. So you had to spend a fate point to use your overdrive.
Yes.
But yeah, after you roll, you can invoke it again.
Okay. Oh, provoke is okay. Let's see. That's a 3.
Okay.
It's better than I usually roll.
It's gonna roll.
Can all of the pipers up there just be singing like a 3-part harmony of like the final chords of the Phantom of the Opera? Sing my angel of music.
Gotta be, yeah. Like something crazy. So I like to think that they all look slightly different, since we were sort of fucking with timelines and stuff. Like it's all like slightly different versions of Piper.
Easter egg, one of them is Piper from season 1.
Yeah, with the buns.
Yeah.
It rolled bad. It rolled a -1.
Great.
Seeing all of these Pipers, Vivi 100% believes that she's hallucinating from her head injury.
Cool.
Excellent.
It takes so it gets hit by this blast, and it's gonna take a consequence from that, because that's like a 4-shift hit there, and it's gonna take the consequence deafened. Also a word I can't spell. There's an extra E in there. Okay.
And
Deafened it. There's an
Yes.
E in there that I wasn't that I forgot about. It's okay, so you're trying to push it out.
Yeah, I'm essentially trying to create like so much like terrible, loud, unsettling sound that it needs out.
Okay. I don't think so it doesn't move out right away. I think right now it's just this is a very unpleasant with the aspect that you've created and everything, like this is a very unpleasant environment for it to be in, and it is deafened while it is in here. So that might influence what it decides to do later on. Maybe we depending on what the others in the group decide to do. But
And we're all still
inflicted
Sorry.
You have inflicted a condition or a consequence on it. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, and we're all still in communication with each other, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I am. The sounds that the bees must be making right now are probably incredible.
Bad. Nobody panic. That's me. Moxie can't help us unless we get it out of the building. Thus the screaming. Have fun.
That'll be Penny's turn, as all of the bees in unison are like,
But in 3-part harmony, yay! Okay. Well, Penny's got to get up there. Which... Okay, so Penny has "Don't worry, I've got this." Can we use that for her to go, like, full action hero right now to, like, run against the tide of all of the panicking people and, like, jolt upstairs?
Yes. Yes, we can do that.
I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering.
Well, let's again. I'm not gonna have y'all do rolls and stuff to get up there. You can do that. You can get up there. So I think Penny, you've got a little bit of a jump on Feng getting up there because you are you're closer where you're located inside the hotel because Feng was in the courtyard. So yeah, like sprinting up the emergency stairs probably to get up there, like the staff stairs. Yes, Piper.
Can I have also followed Moxie around the building? Sorry.
Yes, much slower, but yeah, you're
like done. Started to. I don't just want to be like an idiot standing in the courtyard away from everyone else.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. Sorry. Again, I'm not worried about movement. I'm more worried about narrative and having cool things happen. So, yeah, you, Penny, you taking the staff like emergency stairway, you get onto the 3rd floor and you can see like the flickering lights and the rubble at the end of the hall where Vivi is. So what would you like to do? Are you just wheel around the corner towards this creature, or is there something else like more sneaky you want to do?
Not sneaky. She just needs to be able to see it.
Okay. You see a trio of pipers currently screeching at this thing, sort of deafening you in the process. Like it's the noise is terrible up here, but you're able to stay kind of out of the blast range of the sound that they're emitting, and the creature's eye kind of locks onto you as well, strafing between you and the pipers, as it is silhouetted in this broken out section of the casino, the hotel outer wall.
So we need it to go to the front of the building back the way it came. Yeah?
Yeah, essentially like, well, 10 feet backwards would put it outside the building.
Okay. I guess we're all going maximum overdrive then.
Do it.
Yep, gonna do it. Which I guess is... Penny very much took to heart that she needs to be smarter about these things, and use Omega to help everybody. So Omega usually stays right behind her, sort of enveloping her. Omega is going to like fully leave from behind her and sort of drift off, almost like this completely opaque smoke that drifts over to the creature. My maximum overdrive is called A Wrinkle in Time. So can she have it basically go backwards in time? Not all the way, but enough of where we need it to go, and then just stop?
Okay. So your visual here is sort of like extending out Omega's presence to like influence time at like a greater level around you, and to try to push him back. So yes, you can do that. So you spend the fate point, and we create your aspect. God, this book traumatized me as a child. And that's all coming back to me. A wrinkle in
back.
And what you want to do then is, I think we said before that your Omega powers would be handled using shoot,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Because she's basically like shooting them out toward whatever she's aiming at.
Yeah. All right. We will. You can roll shoot.
Okay.
And it will defend. What makes sense to defend here with? I think, okay, so it has a thing called Take the Blow, where it can use physique to defend against fight attacks made with fists or blunt instruments. I don't think that's going to apply here. I think it's going to just defend with... I don't think it's a defend thing. I think this is going to be a static check. So I'm going to just set the difficulty of this based on the complexity of the task. So I'm going to set the difficulty of this at set at 2. For you. You're not trying to get it to go back very far.
Okay. That is a 4.
Nice. All right. You focus on it, and the kind of ripples of time around you. Is this reversing everything, or just its cause and effect? Like just the creature?
It's like I feel
Okay.
like Omega drifts out and almost just like encapsulates it, so you just see like the shape of it completely engulfed, almost like we were trying to like cut it out in like Adobe and like pull it out of the scene and move it, but it's all just completely covered by Omega, and then it just starts going backward in time the way it came.
All right. Yeah. So you see it suddenly. Its movements go like a little more jagged, and you watch it sort of like reversing its actions as it came in here, like taking a step back, and then suddenly like hurling itself out of the building and back like halfway across the street, where like it kind of stops there, and then you see its momentum begin to carry it forward again. But that's where it's kind of like stopped off at this point that we are cutting off at here. Awesome. I like it. It is outside the building, and I believe everyone is gone. It would be its turn, or well, let me double check for Moxie. No, she's in on this, because her notice is a 4, so she'd get to go first. So
You mean to say that he's outside of the casino and Moxie is there?
yes. Moxie is right there, and what she does is, as she kind of comes running around Piper right behind, you see her kind of stopping on the sidewalk and looking up at this creature that is now hovering about 40 feet off the ground.
This has got to look absolutely buck wild to her right now. Like...
Yeah. And Moxie just sort of mutters, there you are. And she is going to, yeah. She's going to use her ability to slow its, essentially doing the opposite of what she does to herself, slowing the time stream of this creature to sort of freeze it where it's at temporarily. Or at least to slow it down. And she's gonna roll with her abilities. Use drive. That's too many dice. That's no dice. Somewhere in between would be great. There we go. It didn't roll with the modifier. All right, she rolled a 3. Roll's not cooperating with me right now. And it's gonna defend with physique. It rolls a 4. So what happens here is she attempts to slow it down, and you watch it kind of throw off its trajectory as Ion kind of streaks away from her and spins around the creature, and you watch the beast begin to kind of like almost like it's like buffering in the air. It's like it's moving forward and back and forward and back and forward and back, and then it seems to almost like through sheer force of will push itself or overpower that effect. But I will say that's enough to kind of throw it off, where it's not caught in this effect, but it slams up against the side of the hotel just on the edge of this broken section here, and it looks down towards because it has lost Vivi at this point, and the 3 Pipers are very unpleasant to be around. So it
I
looks
imagine
down
that would
and
be true for most people.
and sees Moxie down there, and I think it is going to attempt to attack her now. So it sort of falls off the hotel, streaking down, bringing up both of its arms in the air, kind of forming its fists together. It goes to slam down on top of her. So it is going to roll a fight with that. I need to fix these sheets. That is a 4. Moxie is going to defend with athletics, which is a 3. And it, you see her try to move out of the way. Ion sort of streaking back down towards her, but it's not able to get to her in time. And just as she's about to kind of shift out of the way, it just slams down right on top of her. And if there is a puff of the concrete shatters, everyone that is out on the sidewalk right now, the whole crowd just like screams and gets to back away, as from their perspective the sidewalk around this woman standing here has just exploded. And Piper, you see a streak as Moxie kind of appears next to you, and she doesn't look great. I'm gonna mark her 3 physical stress box, as she has you see like a bit of blood running down like the side of her head from her hairline, and she does look, it looks like she took a pretty serious blow there. That's its turn. So Vivi, it's your go.
Okay, all my friends are here. That's good. That's very good. Looking down at this critter, so like everybody else is here, and also Moxie.
Yes, you're on the 3rd floor right now. Piper, the 3 Pipers are right next to you. Penny's right there. The creature has disappeared out from the hole in the hotel room wall down to the street below. If you move out that way to look, you can see beneath you the beast is standing in this like crater, and the actual Piper and Moxie are down there.
All right. Vivi's gonna kind of look down at it, look at all the rest of her friends and like the carnage around her. She's gonna kind of like wipe the blood off her forehead and say like, how did I ever get into this mess? And she's just gonna like skate out there and like try and land on top of the monster and do some damage.
Okay, so you're attacking with fight?
Yeah.
All right. So is this like a bee-empowered punch, or what is the attack look like?
She flies through the air and like she's gonna try and like scratch it with her scarf as she like lands near it. But she's trying to get the momentum of the scarf with it, essentially.
Okay. So you can attack with fight. It's going to defend with athletics.
Yeah, hold on. Clear that up there, and boop. It's a 3.
All right. You rolled a 0.
Tit for tat!
So you inflict a 3 shift hit on it as the bees sort of like you get in its blind spot because the eye is only on the front, and it just sort of pierces your scarf sort of slashes across the back, opening up these big lacerations across the back of its fairly fleshy body, showing this like purple viscera interior underneath its like dark brown exterior.
All right, she's going to start skating around it in, I don't know, just like a distracting fashion. She's
Okay.
gonna fulfill her role as a striker, just like, yeah, get you.
Jab it, poke it. All right, Feng, what do you got?
He's made his way up to the 3rd floor, watching the monster get flung out the window. And just, come on!
Yeah, you get there just in time to see Vivi jump out the window.
He's gonna follow suit and manifest his overdrive.
All right.
Fang's overdrive is called 4 Emperors Full Arsenal. And as he's jumping out the window, there is this basically a sigil that appears in front of him, and like shattered glass, he explodes out of it. Just full Emperor regalia, but it is more stylized towards a tiger.
Okay.
At his waist, there is 2 sets of cloth that come out like tails, and at the end of those cloths are 3 claws. And they move up, grapple onto the side of the building, and just bungee cord him down towards this monster.
Okay. And then are you following up with what kind of attack are you making? Okay.
It's a drop kick.
Okay. You drop kick the monster. All right, go ahead and roll fight. This is a blunt attack, so it will defend with physique instead of athletics.
And my current buff is at a +5. Yeah, because I did the manifest overdrive.
Are you going to invoke it on this one?
Yes, so I have to.
Or you can wait to invoke it until after if you want. So yeah, you spend the point right now. Just roll straight, and if you want to invoke your manifest overdrive for the extra bonus, you can.
Okay. Quick question: the deafened, is that a free invoke, or do I have to spend a fate to invoke that as well?
You'd have to spend a point to invoke that as well. Yeah, I don't think any free invokes are on the table right now.
That is a 3.
All right, it's gonna roll. It rolls a 4. So, if you want to, you can spend another fate point to invoke your manifest overdrive, and normally you get a 2 for that invoke. But because of your because of the special ability of the overdrive, you get an extra +1, so you get a 3.
Okay. So that would be
shift.
a 6.
Yes, so that'd be a 2 shift hit.
Do that.
Which it takes, marking another physical stress box as you kind of bunging onto the side of the building. One of your like the tabards or the scarves like latching onto the ground near the creature, and whatnot, like pulling you towards it at like
it's a flying dynamic
speed.
Entry, like 1 foot kick.
I'm imagining like a cloud of dust from the debris of the explosion, and then there's just like a hole appears as Fang zips through it in a drop kick, and then slams into the side of it foot first, and which causes it to kind of go like spitting out into the street, where it just slams into a passing car, which sort of crumples from the impact, and like there's chaos in the street as the car spins out and begins to like crash together as a pileup forms, and the beast rises with just like a big welt in the side of its body.
With style is 5 or higher or 3 or higher?
3 or higher.
So
if you succeed with a 3 shift hit or higher.
Okay, I'm gonna reduce that down to a 2 shift hit then, so I can give myself a.
You were at a 2 shift.
I was at a 2
because
shift.
it rolled a. You bumped yours up to a 6. It was at a 4.
So
it was a 2 shift hit.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. That will be Piper's turn.
So it's out in the street?
Yes, it is in the street
Yes.
amongst the cars.
Great.
I'm going to add a situational aspect of traffic jam.
Oh boy. How does Piper want to play this? So I guess, because it obviously can, interact with the physical world around it. Does that go the other way? Where if, hypothetically, someone were to, I don't know, drive an already damaged car into it?
Yeah, it still takes it. Yeah, a car hitting it would still affect it. They just cannot be seen or perceived by people without abilities like yours.
Cool. I want to blast a car into this thing.
Okay.
This is
so
dumb.
Creating like a sonic blast behind a car, just like a
yeah, one that's already busted.
Yeah.
I want to think. I think Piper sort of slides out into the. I don't want to get too far away from Moxie because she's pretty busted up. But just sort of I think steps off the curb and kind of gets behind one of the cars that's already busted and sort of gets down behind it so she can send it up and over. And just lets out this sonic wave to try to send it flying into the thing. Because I don't know,
okay.
She's not gonna punch it. It's very weak.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what kind of attack that would be, or what you'd be rolling.
Drive.
I don't think it would be drive. I think fight would work here, because you're not attacking it, but you're attacking the car to attack it. So it's I think fight works.
Okay, I will try. Yeah. Oh boy, that's a 0. You got so many dice there.
Huh? Oh, I haven't cleared mine. Hold on. Let me roll.
Oh, jeez.
Fight. Or no, it's gonna defend with. It's gonna defend with fight here because I have something in mind if it succeeds. That's a 2.
Trying to figure out if there's something I can do about this.
If you manifest, you can either re-roll or if you use your manifest. If you invoked your manifest overdrive, you get a +3.
Right. I think in my brain I was still thinking it was only a +2.
It's a +3 specifically if you are invoking your own manifest overdrive aspect.
Yep, I want to do that.
All right.
Scroll back up, please. Fate points.
All right, so that is a 1 shift hit then.
Yep.
All right. You,
What was
I
the
assume
aspect?
either
What did I
Huh?
make it? What did we make the aspect? I've forgotten.
discordance.
Discordance. Yeah, so I think maybe Piper does this without really thinking about it too hard. Kind of steps off the curb, and I think maybe she lets out the sound blast, and the car sort of goes like up and over and starts flipping, and maybe is going to miss, and then at the last second she's able to like essentially like pull on the, because there's just it's sound everywhere, and is able to like sort of pull on the like the discordant sound waves and just send it like curving into it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm imagining like so there's like a Mercedes like that's halfway up on the curve, and like the driver gets out of it. Piper goes running just as they're like scrambling to get off the street. Piper, you make it like rush in front of it. You're Vega manifesting around you, and you send up this blast of energy, and it looks like it's gonna like go over the beast, and then you manifest like a second Piper in the air above it, and it just blasts it straight down on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of crunches around and like over the beast on the ground, sort of like flattened, like almost prone underneath the car from the force of this blast. It only has one physical stress box left. That would be Penny's turn then.
Penny's still
You're the
up.
only person back up in the hotel.
Yeah. I'm up in the hotel, but I can sense we're high up. She can see kind of what's going on.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Then she just sort of says to herself, and I guess the bee that's still on her, "That was good, Piper. Let's do that again." Can she take the car, reverse time, have it go up, and then smash down on it again?
Yes, you absolutely can do that. Go ahead, and this will be shoot again, and it'll defend with physique or fight, I guess. Yeah, it's still gonna try to do the same thing that it wanted to do before.
That's a 5.
Ooh, that's really good. Right. And oh, that's the wrong modify. No, go away. I gotta fix these sheets. I didn't do the thing where it auto selects the dice on my own sheets. I only did it for y'all, making my life substantially more difficult. That's a 4, which is enough. So as it gets slammed in the ground, suddenly you watch the car and everyone in the crowd can see this too, where they just saw Piper the pop star go hide behind a car, and then suddenly it went exploding away from her. The car lands on the ground, and then like lifts back up, reforms halfway in the air, and then slams back down onto this creature. And it takes a big ol' hit from that, and as the car sort of crumples around it and it gets slammed into the ground, you all pause for a moment as you see like one of its massive arms kind of sticking out from underneath, and that arm just goes still and sort of its fingers flattening against the sidewalk. And that's and everything sort of returns to a bit of normalcy. No longer being attacked. However, there's a crowd of people out here, stunned, panicked, with all the carnage and the debris. There's chaos all around you. You can see some police sirens, or see some police like lights flashing in the distance as they're approaching the chaos outside of the Platinum Star Casino.
Feng appears behind Piper and scoops her up. The tail belt goes into the ground and extends as he jumps away.
Okay. Feng grabs Piper and then just goes catapulting off into the night.
He catapults away, and like Vivi's like right behind them, and like she's still bleeding from the head, and she just goes like, "What?"
Whoa.
What?
What?
Just like, no, it's fine. I don't need a pickup or anything. I'll just leave.
Moxie, who's also bleeding from the head, says, "We should probably get out of here." Penny?
Vivi scarfs away.
Penny's still up on the 4th floor. She didn't jump down. She just did this from far away.
You hear this as Moxie sort of looks, or I guess, she doesn't have a B and she can't go up there. I think she just looks up in your direction and just calls out, "Penny, are you all right?" I'm
Distant
going to
figure
leave now.
thumbs up.
And she zooms off too.
Penny will follow suit, I guess.
All right. We can cut to the next scene, maybe being back at the estate. Might be a good place to follow up after all of that. I assume none of you want to stick around and talk to the cops.
So I just haven't figured out how to not be in this form. I guess this is who I am for a bit.
I mean, I wasn't going to ask, but can you talk to like one of them and ask if they could take it off?
Tortoise? Tortoise off. Flame on.
Oh, don't do that
Web.
one.
Go, Web, go.
I'm Tortoise.
Fun.
Fly.
Go gadget.
Sorry.
Go gadget the armor.
Oh, sorry, are you talking to me?
Yes.
You want to remove the armor.
Yes.
You
It's-
do realize that you are more exposed without the armor.
It chafes.
Fair enough. Tortoise out.
Huh.
So we're gonna have to go get my car.
Oh, shit, right.
I thought your car was the one we used to smash that big fleshy eyeball thing.
No, I wouldn't drive a Mercedes.
Oh. Okay.
Well, I'm glad to see that all your training paid off, as Moxie is currently sitting on the couch, has like a big ice pack against her forehead.
Are you okay?
I assume Vivi doing like the same thing on the other
she's
side
like,
of the couch.
she's like in front of a mirror, like trying to like patch herself up, like basically doing like the multiple bandages thing across a gash on her forehead, and she just like glares into the mirror at everybody behind her and continues.
I'm just thrilled to know I'm such an excellent teacher. Well done, me. Well done.
Oh, shit, Dave.
Oh shit. She'll text Dave. Fuck. He's a father too, and he's a really nice guy. Is Dave okay?
Oh, Dave is fine. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Dave's just, we don't have to get into it too much, but Dave is like, yeah, there was like an explosion out here. I don't know what's going on. Still working on things, trying to pull footage, but I think some of the cameras got destroyed, and I'll call you right back. Yeah, I'll be right there.
We left Dave to talk to the police.
Yeah. Poor clueless Dave.
He'll be fine.
Hey, that means two of us have an alibi. Dave thinks we're still inside the control room.
Moxie, still with her head under a cold compressor, says, "So I think I should probably explain a few things."
Oh, you think?
Well, I was
That'd be-
planning on doing that when I got back tonight, so we're still on schedule. I didn't know all of you would be following me.
Really?
You were acting really weird.
No, wait. I'm gonna call bullshit on that. Really?
Well, I was optimistic, I suppose.
What? That we were complete dipshits that don't recognize very obvious suspicious behavior?
I don't understand what's suspicious about a grown woman going out and doing her own thing for a few hours. Do I need to babysit you all constantly?
Every single night in a city she doesn't live in, isn't necessarily familiar with, for the same exact time period every night. I'm not an idiot. I watch Criminal Minds.
Maybe I'm seeing someone.
I mean, based on what you told me, it seems more likely that you're actively not seeing someone.
If it's any consolation, I didn't suspect a thing.
Right. Well, at least to know I'm not totally incompetent then.
No, I could tell Feng I was the Zodiac killer and he wouldn't suspect anything.
I thought you were a phantom.
I thought you were gonna say you thought it was the Zodiac killer.
You're Ted Cruz?
Ew, no. Gross.
Right. I assume all of you have heard now what I told Piper.
Obviously.
All right. She takes the compress off and then removes her sunglasses. Says, "I assume I don't need to keep this a secret anymore." And as she opens her eyes, you see that something fairly strange. Her eyes are completely dark, like a purple blackish color, with small flecks of what look to be like almost like glowing like white dots, like almost like stars across them. She says, "I know they're beautiful, but this was the side effect of the encounter I had with that phantom not too long ago."
The flesh eye monster or something else?
No, something far more powerful than that. I'd probably put that at the C rank, most likely. What I encountered was, best guess, probably A tier.
Just a quick reminder, does her aura give off the same aura that I encountered back at the apartment?
Hers, or so Moxie's exactly no. Her aura is different. That was clearly a phantom aura. She is definitely human. Now, if you're curious about the actual effect that is on her, her eyes, you could investigate that.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, I'll have you roll investigation.
1.
I'd say that's sufficient. You're just comparing two auras that you've seen previously. You are able to pick up the aura of this like curse that is on her, essentially. And yes, it's definitely the same.
Right. So, the phantom that attacked you and the phantom that had attacked Jackie, possibly the same one. and the casino reeks of their aura.
Saying that you couldn't see inside of the casino because of this curse.
I can't see anything that they've invested with their power.
What the hell
The
is
creature that
Stephanie
I
up to?
encountered. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Just what the hell is Stephanie up to?
Do we really think this is all about that vase?
I'm pretty serious about getting hold of it. I don't know if it's all about the vase, but the vase is a part of it.
All about that
What it-
vase. About the vase, no trouble.
What even is that thing? I thought it was just a expensive piece of pottery.
Which face are you
held-
talking about?
Vivi's angry now because you've messed up her face.
The one of them that we have in the archive, it held a phantom for a while.
Yeah, but it doesn't hold a phantom anymore.
No, but that's not saying it couldn't still.
We
If you
should
put one in it.
probably fill Moxie in on the Jackie thing. Because I'm starting to feel like it's all one thing.
Yeah.
Oh, now we trust Moxie, though.
Enough.
She's not a phantom, so
You thought I was a phantom?
yeah.
There are several holes in that line of reasoning that I would like to discuss at some point, but we can get into
I know
that.
you're not now.
All right. Well, explain to me what this is about Jackie and what you're talking about the vase. And we can exposition dump.
Just give her a rundown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blech.
Do you explain it to her as she sits and listens? And ends with, or kind of continues off of what you're saying. It says, all right, I don't know if this could all be about the soul vessel. I'm aware of the artifact. It doesn't seem particularly powerful or important to me. I don't know why this group would be interested in it.
Well, you've been known to underestimate things that aren't particularly powerful before, so.
Fair. I suppose when you reach my level, it's fairly easy to underestimate people.
What's your security clearance?
Mine.
Yeah. The thing that got written on Jackie's wall. That whole if Sid can find it in her notes. Look beyond the veil through the shadow of the obelisk. I tried to look into it in the archives, but I don't have high enough security clearance.
I can look into it, but I'm not sure.
If you could try.
Right.
Just also something for posterity's sake. Moxie, why don't you have a look at the vase? If you can't see it, that means they've invested into it. Hmm?
I can try. See what I see, but I think this is bigger than that. The group, the Phantom that I was looking into, the one that wounded me. Well, I was investigating them. Because of its connection with a much larger issue. There's I suppose, a collection of dark rulers to the Phantom class, you might say. something I'd only heard in rumors, and I was looking into, more about a whim than anything. And I wanted to learn more about it. The more I dug into it, the more dangerous it became until this person showed up. They looked like a person. Most definitely a phantom. But I'm fairly certain that what I was investigating was true. A group of all-powerful phantoms calling themselves the Tribunal. I don't know exactly what they want. I have to assume it's probably something along the lines of the destruction of humanity or something similar. But this entity that I encountered somehow connected with them. And now that they're here, I have to assume that the Tribunal might be here in Las Vegas too.
Do you know anything about the other members?
Nothing specific. I've only heard names. Legend.
Start with legend, narrow it down from there.
3 in specific. Drawing names are perhaps the sources of some very powerful mythology. One referring to themselves as Vulcan. Another Nemesis. And the last Thanatos.
God of Death. Or Sides, or whatever. What? I like Hades.
I don't know what they... I don't know what they want, but this obelisk concerns me.
It existed.
Could be a connection there. If it's some sort of relic, I would imagine it would be housed somewhere in our
It was in the Middle
storage
East.
facilities.
It was moved to Cairo and shipped to US. And then everything else I couldn't see.
Well, I suppose we have 2 leads then. Attempting to track down where this obelisk is currently located. However, that might be playing into the hands of these people, these phantoms, given that they're the ones that left the clue for you in the first place.
You think they want us to do their dirty work?
It seems fairly obvious. However, regardless, we should still locate it, because even if it's what they want, we need to know where it is. The second lead, I suppose, is finding the connection with this Stephanie, seeing how she's related to all of this, because she clearly has some sort of connection, since that hotel does, with this phantom that attacked me. And would likely have a further connection with the Tribunal.
Would an anime user want to work with phantoms?
Stranger things have happened. I don't relish the idea of sending you all in on this. But you're far more accomplished and powerful than I might have initially estimated.
Thank you.
You've all accomplished some great things. I'm sure you'll continue to do so. I'm exhausted, though. Probably should turn in for the evening.
Maybe this is Sid reading into things too much, but can Penny roll? She said that like she's not gonna be here to see us do anything. Like an empathy or something. Like, is she like gonna bounce?
I was about to ask the exact same question.
You can,
Okay, it wasn't just me. Though. Okay.
y'all can roll empathy for the purposes of this conversation.
And while we're rolling, I think that the mention specifically of Thanatos, like gets Vivi's head spinning, and like she sits down and like is definitely getting a headache because Thanatos is a huge thing in the last season, and Vivi is still sensitive to the different timelines that we're going through.
There's just a bottle of Advil that's handed to you.
Am I misremembering that there was a Thanatos in the last season?
Thanatos
Tartarus.
Tartarus.
It was Tartarus.
Tartarus? Oh, well,
Tartarus.
that's wrong. Never mind.
No,
But
it's okay.
either way,
I got really scared for
no.
a second. I was like, wait, what?
But either way, like, I don't think that's too far off, given the nature of where this conversation has gone and some of the names that are getting brought
Very
up.
similar, like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
she has to sit down.
Tartarus is the
That
place
sounds
of
like a
death.
compel that you're suggesting there for Vivi.
I will. Shall.
Okay. I will allow that. I think Vivi is feeling a strong like sense of like vertigo and some just weird feelings coming up from this conversation. All right, so both of you rolled empathy. What'd you roll?
2.
0.
Okay. Piper, you're too distracted by just how hot Moxie is to even
Yeah, that's probably
suspect
true.
anything.
She's not even remotely acknowledged that I was defending her.
I think
about
what
it.
happens then. I think what happens then is probably what causes Piper to like drop her guard is that Moxie, as she's standing up, she kind of walks close to you, Piper, and like places a hand on your arm and says, "Thank you, by the way. That might have gone very badly if you weren't there. I owe you one."
Yeah, totally.
As she leaves. And Penny, you don't get the impression that she's going to bounce or anything. I think from what you're reading is like there's nothing that, I mean, you might be a little suspicious of her and you might want to keep an eye on her. I don't think there's anything that you think that she's not going to be there. But one thing did stick with you from the conversation. When you brought up the obelisk, she hesitated. And I think that sticks with you, is that she might know more than she's letting on. But as you all retire for the evening, as Moxie retires and the rest of you decide what you're going to do, and Piper stands there and stunned.
Blinks
Yeah.
repeatedly.
That's where we're gonna end our session for tonight. Good job. Good job, y'all. Y'all all hit a major milestone within our campaign. Our little campaign here. All the milestone stuff is listed in the book, or on the assets tray. So with the major milestone, you get the major, minor, and significant, all wrapped into one. So y'all can go ahead and take care of that. And I'll go to wrap up for the evening. Thank you everyone for watching. We'll be back in 2 weeks to pick up our game and see where this is all going, as we're dealing with Greek gods and powerful creatures and potential subterfuge. We'll be back same time, same place in 2 weeks. Join us in the meantime for all of our other streams. Tomorrow, specifically Sunday at 4 o'clock Eastern time for Thursday's Children, where we'll be playing Vaesen and potentially finishing up our campaign there, as we're getting back into, I think Savannah already announced what we're going to be doing after Vaesen. We're getting back into Slaying 201, Return to Form for the Monster of the Week crew, which I think we are all very, very, very excited for. Join us on Monday for D&D, where Savannah runs a game called The Forgotten. All of the Neon Souls crew is there, playing some D&D characters that we never really got to play before. So we're doing the Horde of the Dragon Queen. And then Tuesday for Tabletop Tuesdays, we're going to be playing Masks, I believe, for their Squire Squad. And Thursday, we will be returning for part something of our conclusion of our Elegant Magic season, as we're getting into our last, our tail end of our story, continuing our final novel chapter. And then Neon Souls on Friday, where we're doing space pirate stuff. And yeah, they don't really need to say anything more than that. Thank you to my lovely players for being awesome and making this a joy to run, as always. And thank you to everyone in the chat for interacting and engaging with us. We will see everyone back here in 2 weeks. And until next time, good game. Good night, Internet.